How you doing? Paul Hogg, Newburyport Harbormaster. Welcome to our office. So I think today we're going to kind of talk about our office, what the department does, some of our responsibilities, and some safety tips. We're going to go for a little boat ride at some point, and then we're going to take you around the city, show you some of the important stuff and the do's and don'ts. This is one of my assistants, Mike. Let him introduce himself. He's going to be along for the ride today and helping us run the boat.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Mike Maillette. I've been with the Harbormaster's office now for about 3 years. And yeah, we're going to just go out in the boat today and talk a little bit about safety, and we'll see where it leads.
See where it brings us. Should be fun. So just real quick, as far as this office, back in 2016, we used to actually work out of, if you look right over here, we used to work out of a shed. And in 2016, we built this facility that you're in now through a boater safety grant, and we got it through the economic development. And now with this facility, we have bathrooms and showers, laundry, so we can take, when people come in, they get a key card, it's almost like a hotel, and they can actually go in there, because some of these people stay, 2, 3, 4 nights up to a week, and they come from all over the world. If you're ever looking for reservations, we want you to sign on with Docwa. It's an app that you can get on your phone, and we do take reservations. So some people book up to 2 or 3 weeks to a month out. We just replaced all the electrical on the docks. We have water, power, new bulkhead. So it's a lot more convenient to how it used to be, so we can accommodate a lot more. Some of the important things that we want to talk about, and I'll start first and I'll let Mike take over, is before you go out, we want you to make sure if you have a boater safety course. Believe it or not, in Massachusetts, you do not need to have a boating license. It's in legislature now. We're trying to make that happen as to where you have to get a boater's license, but as of now, you don't. But we highly, highly recommend, that'd be one of the first things I'd like to talk about, and we're going to talk about life jackets a lot, how important they are, is getting some type of boater safety course, just because, this isn't a lake, it's the Merrimack River, there's strong currents, strong tides, and a lot of things you have to look out for. We also, the Coast Guard Auxiliary will also do vessel safety checks. They can come down, check your vessel, make sure you have all the correct and proper documentation. We also have a pre-departure checklist that we'd like to give you just to make sure everything on the boat is good. And also file a float plan. So if you're going to be heading out, it's important that you either let us know or the Coast Guard know if you're going to be going out for a long amount of time that you're out. So if something comes up, we know that you were out and we're not looking for you. Always be aware, be sober. Most of the accidents come from not wearing life jackets and being under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So just make sure that we're not doing that out there. That's kind of the most stuff that I have. I don't know if Mike, you want to talk about anything else? We have some information over here that you can get in the office. Mike's going to talk about the guide here that we have these right in the office that you can take, and it talks about boating safety.
Yeah, this is a great little handy book that the environmental police puts out. It's called the It's just about the rules and the laws of the water, and it gives you all the information about how to navigate the river, what the safety equipment you need, and it's a great little pamphlet, and I would highly recommend people that are boating in the Merrimack River to get it. It's called, you can actually get this book on boated.com and through the Massachusetts Environmental Police. So
thanks, Mike. Yeah,
yep.
Some of the other things too that are important, along with the checklist, is check the weather. There's a lot of apps you can get on your phone now. NOAA app has a good one. The Wind Finder is good because any time the weather can change. We have a lot of thunderstorms that come through. The mouth of the Merrimack can change any time, and we're actually going to go for a ride and take you guys out there so you can really see what we're dealing with. That's a lot of stuff that I wanted to go over with real quick in the office just before we head out, and look forward to seeing you guys out in the water. All right, we good to go?
We have a GPS chart plotter, which is very, very helpful in navigating the river. And if you can afford one of these and have it on your boat, it's awesome. Gives you all the channels, the buoys, a lot of information. And the depth. There we go.
We also have police and fire radios because we all work together, so you never know at any time when we're going to be working with the police or fire, along with our VHF. We train and work with the Coast Guard, environmental police, fire all the time. You never know when we have an incident, we all have to work together. One of the first things we look at before we take off is just making sure that the boat's all ready to go. We look up at our flag sometimes to see what the wind direction is, because that's part of our planning before we take off. And also we want to see what the tide's doing, because that makes a big difference on which ropes or which lines that we grab first. So in this particular case, the tide's going out, so we're going to start with the back and work our way to the front.
And this place gets extremely busy in the summertime. We're still very early in the season.
Yeah, luckily it's a weekday right now, but on the weekends, these docks will be full. And sometimes we even have a waiting list with people waiting to get in. As you can see now, these pylons are all brand new. The one last thing that they have to do is just put the final coating on the pylons for protection. That actually happened during one of the storms that we had while they were getting set up. When you stay here, you can plug your boats in. So you have electricity and water. So a lot of the boats, when they stay here, they like to be able to plug in their ACs and charge up their boats before they go to the next port. If you look on the top, all that concrete, that's all brand new. We did that over the winter time. That was part of the bulkhead project, a separate project from the park project that we have going on. And that's really coming out nice. That should be done within the next 2 weeks, as far as the rail trail and the park project. If you look too, along with the concrete, the whole bulkhead, that's the sheet piles that are below it. Those are all redone. So if you look at the difference, they used to be steel. They actually put the fiberglass piles out in front of it and put 18 inches and did concrete in between it. You can notify us or give us a call on the VHF radio on channel 12. And the dockhand, they're in blue shirts and they can assist you on where to tie up. You can also call the office at 978-462-3746 if you'd like to try to see if there's space available. Coming up here, you're going to have the captain's lady. They do dinner cruises and also whale watching. So that's another benefit to the city here. You can just make reservations. They have a booth up there, or you can go online. Right in front of them is the harbor tours. You can also hop on one of those boats if you want to go for a ride, give you some of the history of the river, and just kind of show you around if you're a tourist. This is called the embayment area, and it's a cutout, and that's where they have a lot of the concerts. So in the summertime, this is kind of prime real estate. Everybody wants to be inside there so they can keep their boats there and listen to the music, and especially during Yankee Homecoming. Yankee Homecoming, people are already looking to get their spots, because they get the bridge right here and the fireworks go off right at Cashman Park. While we're heading up to the bridge, another important thing I'd like to talk about are these stickers. It's an if found sticker, and this is very important that you put these on your boat, a canoe or a kayak, especially something that's not registered, because this is important that if it ever goes missing, that we know exactly who it belongs to so we can track down the owner of the vessel. Otherwise, we're going to be out searching for you as if it's a potential search and rescue case. So it's very important that you put these stickers on your canoe or kayak or boat if it's not registered. We also work with the dive team. If you look down here, that's also where when the dive team comes out, if we ever have a case as to where we're searching for somebody or doing a recovery, that's where they can leave the dive tanks. And this also, right down here, is where we have an intake if we need to hook up a fire hose pump as to where we can suck in the water. Because like I said, we work with the fire department hand in hand. So if you guys ever if you have a sailboat, you need to have a bridge opening, channel 13 is how you contact the bridge, because this bridge actually opens and closes. I think when we started at my office, you were actually taking a picture of a sailboat that was going underneath the bridge. So they have a bridge tender up there. Just call them on channel 13 VHF. That way there you can schedule your bridge opening if you need to get through. All right, so right here is a no wake buoy. Just another important thing, another thing that we enforce is just making sure within this area where there's boats moored and docks, it is slow, no wake. So that's very important just to let the boaters know within this area. We're coming up to Cashman Park as well, which is right over here. And this is one of the busiest launches in the Commonwealth. So it's another benefit you have to the city of Newburyport. If you got a trailer and you're looking to come down and just launch your boat for the day, we offer day passes at $15, or you can get a season pass for $150. Another service we also offer, we're going to be going by right up here, is a pump station. So we get a grant through the state And basically you can pull up to the dock here and pump out your septic tank, and that's 24 hours. We also have a pump out boat, and you can call us on 12, or you can call the office, and that runs Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes on a holiday. We'll come right to your boat, and we'll pump out your septic tank on the boats.
Towboat is available 24/7 in the Merrimack River.
Right over here.
There's right there.
Yeah, so that's towboat right there. Those guys are always around. We work hand in hand with them as well. So if you're in an emergency or you need towboat, I would highly recommend that you join Towboat or Sea Tow. Those are the two towing boats that we have here in the city. So if you ever break down, it can be very costly. So it's almost like a AAA for cars on the water. We're also coming through here. It's also our mooring field. So basically you can, all these moorings here in the city have to get mooring permits through our department, and you can do that right in our office. This is actually our pump out boat. This is the boat that will come right to you. That's why it has all the fenders. We'll come right to you in your marina, and we'll be able to pump out your boat. We get a grant through the state, which is important to make sure that, you know, we're pumping out the sewage so it's not all ending up in the river. Looks like a couple of guys here getting ready to go striper fishing. This is one of the best areas in the world as far as for striper fishing. We get thousands and thousands of people that come from all over to go striper fishing here. You know, right now it's all just starting to happen. We also have a construction barge that's going on right here. These guys are working on the railroad bridge. So another thing that Mike just mentioned, we got another grant through the state is to have fishing access. So generally when this barge isn't here and they're not working, you can come right down here to this pier and you can go for striper, flounder, and some other small fish, crabs and eels. It's a great spot to bring your kids. It's even handicap accessible. If you'd like to come down here and spend the day fishing, you can actually catch striped bass right here in this area.
So actually, this is one of the commercial fishing boats, does a lot of fishing, and he does, actually it's interesting, he does a lot of research too with the state. He takes the state people out, they do a lot of research about the brown fish. And then we also, this is the Harbormaster's office, and I know, that's our other patrol boat, that's patrol boat number 2. It's a older Coast Guard boat that we've repurposed, and it's a great. Another couple of commercial fishing. They do ground fish, scalloping, depending on the time of the year. And that crane right up here, they bring a lot of tuna when the tuna season's here, which I believe right now they're starting to
June
catch.
1st.
June 1st, so they just start catching tuna, and when they bring the tuna here and sell it.
What's the difference between the Coast Guard and the Harbormaster?
So we're more local, state. They're more federal. They're the federal government.
In terms of emergencies, who does what?
So we do a lot of the same things, but they're on 24/7. So it's important that if there's an emergency to contact them. But as you can see right now, they got they're swapping over the buoys. They're going from the winter buoys to the seasonal buoys right now for the summer season. And these boats here, they're 47s, and these are surf boats. They're designed to go out in heavy, heavy weather seas. And they can actually, they call them rollover boats, but they're designed that if they roll over, they get in the seas that are bad enough, they can rewrite themselves. They just got reclassified right now. They actually just lost their surf status, so we're going to be working with them a little bit more, which means that they won't be going outside the mouth for anything over 10.5-foot breaking waves. They'll be responding from Gloucester or Portsmouth. Someone will always be coming, but they're just going to be coming from a different location if it's that rough. And if it is that rough, you should not be out there anyway. But like I said, we work with these guys hand in hand and train with them almost every single day. Generally, when there's an emergency, to answer your question, is if we get the call, our next call is to them, notifying them, the police, the fire, depending upon what the call happens to be. We start notifying everybody that we need to notify to get everybody involved that needs to be. We all kind of have the same mission: boater safety, educating, you know, and trying to keep the general boating public safe and educated at all times.
And Channel 16 is the channel on the VHF radio that you want to reach out to them. And they monitor that 24/7, and they'll, you know, be right with you.
Very important that he talked about that, because a lot of people want to call on a cell phone. But when you call on the radio, it's really good too, because there's other good Samaritans and other captains that are out there. There's a lot of really good charter boat captains and very educated people in this river that If you call over the radio, they may be closer than any of us and can get to you first. We've had multiple Good Samaritans pull people out of the water and save lives because the call came over the radio where everyone can hear it. If it comes in on the cell phone, well, that just goes to us, and then we got to kind of start putting the word out. So if you can, another important thing is make sure you have a radio on your boat and it's working, and you're monitoring channel 16. Very, very, very important.
From the south, and visibility is unrestricted. This is United States Coast Guard Station, Merrimack River, out.
Another reason why it's very important to monitor, because now you know exactly what's going on out there before you even head out.
You could be put in the situation if you're able to help somebody else in distress. You know, if you're right there and you're able to help them, that's, you know, great. You know, we're here to keep everybody safe on the water. They have the 29-foot boat up there. That's always, it's up it's on the back of the trailer. That's always that's usually in the water. And they'll do safety boardings here in the Merrimack River, which they'll actually come on your boat and check all of your equipment and make sure you have everything up to date. And if you don't, they'll probably give you a warning. So they will give you a warning. And if you really don't have the safety equipment, you can be cited also. But really, really important to have the Coast Guard here. And
We're coming up on here. I want you guys to zoom in on these rocks. They call them Mechanics Rock / Half-Tide Rock, because this is just outside the channel, and we can't tell you, we get, I don't know, dozen calls a year of people that hit these rocks over here, because they're kind of hidden in the mooring field of the AYC, the American Yacht Club. So it's important that people know about this, because it's just outside the green can. That's why when we talked about making sure you're staying in the channel. If you look on them, sometimes you'll see seals and cormorants. It looks like right now we got a couple cormorants and some seagulls on there, but this is actually another good spot to striper fish. So people want to get close to the rocks, but you don't want to get too close.
It gets very shallow very quickly.
So we have a
Yes.
lot of sturgeon in this area. We actually even have a scientist that comes because of the area and the breeding grounds here. We have short-nosed and Atlantic sturgeon. And a lot of times you'll see them jumping out of the water. People think they're striped bass, but it's actually the sturgeon that jump out of the water. And just another important thing to let the viewers know is if you hook them, you can't keep them, touch them, or take them out of the water. Just get them off the hook immediately, because they are an endangered protected species. And there's a gentleman named Micah, who's always up here in a small aluminum boat. It's a marine fisheries boat, and he basically catches them and tags them, and we have monitors throughout the river to keep track of their migration and where they're moving. They actually have tags on them, and when they swim by the buoys, we can tell where they're coming from and where they're going. It's just a good way for us to monitor their habitat. So the good news is we're coming up here. We're going to be able to go a little bit faster. We're coming out of the no wake zone here for a little while. We'll let you film it as much as you can. As you guys can see, we're coming up at the bottom of the tide here, and low tide, this is when it can be the worst. So we got a big grant through the Army Corps of Engineers, and we dredged this area all the way out to the mouth, and I'll show you that as we get out there. What you're filming right now, this is called Joppa Flats, and that's actually another really, really good fishing area. People like to go in there at night and use live eels.
Now, it doesn't look like it right now, but this river has a very, very strong current. We have a strong outgoing tide. It can be challenging.
It's also important, too, that as a boater, you stay at least 100 feet from the beach to respect the people fishing. And also, another important thing to note is that you're not allowed to swim in the river portion of Plum Island. You're allowed to walk out up to your knees, you know, to cast your fishing pole or something like that, but because we have rip tide and undertow and a really strong current, we don't want people swimming here. On the ocean side you can, but not in the river. So right now it's important to kind of look at it because it's low tide. Things will look a lot different at high tide. So at high tide, you won't even be able to walk out on the sandbar. So we've had people walk out on the sandbar, not realize that the tide's coming in. Next thing you know, the water's up to their chest, and they get knocked, you know, a boat comes by or a wave comes in, it knocks them off, and they end up in the water. We've had fatalities here, we've had recoveries on this exact sandbar right here. And a lot of the fishermen walk out with wading boots, and those fill up with water. Then they can't swim. So as you can see right now, they're kind of walking out here. They like to do that because they want to get out in the channel more away from the beach because they can cast out further. But just make sure you're always paying attention to the tide.
Right now is actually dead low tide. Yeah. Because we're so close to the Seabrook nuclear power plant, we have radiation detection here. If there was ever, you know, any kind of an emergency, that we could monitor, you know, if they had any kind of a leak. And then also on this boat we have FLARE, which is an infrared camera that we can see at nighttime, and it's a great tool to have in case, you know, we're looking for somebody at nighttime. It brings up the heat signature of a boat or if a person's in the water. One of the most important things about it is, you know, come out, have a good time, be safe, you know, be courteous, enjoy the water. This Newburyport and the Merrimack River is one of the greatest places to go boating, fishing, you know, and swimming. You know, the Plum Island. It's got a lot to offer. It really does, and it's really nice to get out here and enjoy it. Restaurants, you know.
Glad we had a good landing while you had me on film. And that concludes the tour.